Yeah, sound. Aloha from Hawaii, from Kauai Tibetan Buddhist Dharma Center, Healing Center here on the island of Kauai. And I'm Amatashi, and much aloha and happy Valentine's Day. We present this class every Thursday night, 6 to 8, to benefit people on this lovely planet. And since today we are celebrating the heart with what is called in America Valentine's Day, and it's celebrated in other places, I thought it would be appropriate to read, first of all, the card that I gave my lovely wife today, a Valentine's Day card, to Abigail. And it has a heart on the front, and it says in the heart, in the trillions of galaxies with trillions of stars and billions of planets, there's only one you. And you are amazing. Happy Valentine's Day. You are my sweetheart. We should now plan for our young future age. Hugs and kisses, Lamatashi. So that's in honor of our unconditional love and kindness we have for each other, and have shared for over 11 years. Then I would like to read to you from one of my good friends and students who together with their boyfriend stayed here and took care of our house while we were on vacation in New Zealand. And her name is Lucy. And it says, Dear Lamatashi and Abby, I would like you to know, first of all, that I'm greatly thankful for having been blessed to stay in your lovely home. I have moved myself towards Buddhism many times, going on retreats, mindfulness practices, Dharma-based, Vipassana-based, in various centers in London and other places. And through these I learned many valuable things, but I never felt a rightness to keep going in this tradition. The biggest reason was the distinct lack of joy I experienced in those places and people. I thought to myself, it's not just about being without suffering, it's about being totally and joyfully full of heart. And I could feel this and the purity and expansiveness of your hearts in your house, in your home, and the joy in your being, and the deep love between you and Abby. This has generated a great sense of rightness to begin a committed Tara practice with your advice. Aloha, Lucy. This card is a picture of her in Switzerland, where she went from here to take a job after we got home. Anyway, to all of you, every day is Valentine's Day, and I wish that for all of you. So tonight we are going to do the Manjushri practice, and we are going to start, and other practices, and we are going to start with the traditional refuge prayer, which has the unique wish that altruistically all sentient beings are the purpose of our practice, and all of our practice are called pujas or sadhanas as offerings to them to accomplish maturity. So I'm going to read that prayer. In order to attain enlightenment for ourselves and limitless sentient beings, our mothers, we now all together take refuge and offer prostrations. I'm going to chant this in Tibetan Sanskrit because that's the way this language and other languages are traditionally presented to all of the various societies of this planet. Ta dong jowa nam ke ta dong yam pe sem chen tam che ju di ne ju de chi si jai shu gen po la chi ki bardu. And the next prayer is to take the refuges of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, which is called the Three Jewels, and the three roots of Tantra, which is the Lama and all the Lamas, symbols of deities and protectors. Those are called the three roots. So this prayer goes like this. We go for refuge to all the glorious holy Lamas. We go for refuge to all Yidams, or the deities gathered in our mandalas. We go for refuge to all Buddhas, those who have conquered mind and gone beyond. We go for refuge to all the Supreme Dharma. We go for refuge to all the noble Sangha. We go for refuge to all the Dakas and Dakinis, or the protectors and defenders of Dharma. All of these possessing the eye of transcending awareness. To the Buddha, Dharma, and this Supreme Assembly, we go for refuge until enlightenment. May I, through merit gained from practicing the 6 Bodhisattva perfections, accomplish Buddhahood for the sake of all these sentient beings. Then we say these two prayers and chant them in Sanskrit. Valde Mama Dampa Damla Chaksu Chiyo Yedam Chokorgi Latso Namha Chaksu Chiyo Sanjay Shom Dende Namha Chaksu Chiyo Tampe Chur Namha Chaksu Chiyo Kauke Gendum Namha Chaksu Chiyo Kawo Kandro Chokyung Sume Shoyesheki Shendam Dempa Namha Chaksu Chiyo Sanjay Chodam Choki Chodam Ma Chenchu Ardu Dagni Chaksu Chi Dagi Jenso Jipe Sonam Shola Penjur Sanjay Drupa Yo. The refuge consisting of the 3 jewels and the 3 roots is our support. Without the Lama and this support, it is not possible to reach maturity in this lifetime. And when we say that the support, we also include the Bodhisattva path of setting up auspicious circumstances for ourselves and others to what is called the 6 Bodhisattva perfections or discipline. And understanding that these 6 are the basis of all of our practice, along with the 6-fold support of the 3 jewels and 3 roots, is to know that this is always integrated into every practice we do in Tibetan Buddhism, whether it be Sutra, Tantra, or meditating on voidness, which is the ultimate perfection of our natural mind. So I would like to put that in perspective before we start our first meditation class practice. And this is from the story of all this from my teacher, Lama Rinchen in Honolulu, which is available on Amazon. And this one paragraph that I'm going to read is on page 69 for those of you who have this book. I would recommend that you buy this book and give it to all your friends and relatives, not just to people who practice, which this is our support book. And it goes like this. With the nature of mind, the things that we do with our vision, hear with our ears, smell with our noses, feel with our skin, and pretty much are all pretty much the same, with only some small individual differences of how we experience these things. But since one of them is viewing things with the worldly, discursive mind, and at the same time with some, the other, the ultimate mind, which is in a state of pure awareness with no judgment or thoughts arising, these inner experiences and reactions will have profound differences. In other words, profound differences to the ordinary way of viewing things with senses and rational mind. So I'm explaining this because understanding that the mind has two natures is the basis of Tibetan Buddhism. And that's unique. It's unique in two ways. One, because it's the basis of all the practice we do. And two, it's unique in the oral transmission of these practices, how to do them and accomplish them. So we're going to start tonight as the basis for the Manjushri practice, which is a sutra practice to understand the natural mind and how to apply it. So how do we start? Using the refuge and the bodhisattva basis with the altruistic motivation, we start by meditating on the breath. We do this because it's always with us and it's our main life support system. So we're going to integrate this with what we call awareness or focus of our ordinary mind, and at the same time integrate the other nature of the natural mind as simply an energy program, which is the nature of everything we are sensing and thinking about, which we call our universe. So to start, back straight, sitting on a cushion or in a chair, head slightly tilted forward, mouth closed, hands in a comfortable position, on the knees or in the lap. Eyes focused to about arm's length in front to the space energy of light there. And it is recommended to soften your gaze. Like all the Buddha statues and tankas, the eyes are about half closed. Then simply bring your awareness, your focus to the breath. Following the in-breath of air into your body, into your lungs, and the exhale of the air out your nose into space. And with these two energy programs entering into our body, through our eyes and through our breath, we then adjust to the first meditation practice of Tibetan Buddhism, which is called the Three Light Prana Yoga practice. And it is integrated with the breath energy, or its life support, we say life force, of the elements that make everything in the universe. To do that, you simply inhale, visualizing the air that's coming in through your nose or mouth to be filling your lungs with white light. Then the spontaneous energy extraction process of the body is visualized as red light passing through every cell in your body. Then a combination of these two is visualized as the exhale out the nose is blue light to space available to everyone. Then by using this method or technique of settling, we recognize that we are in a state of calm abiding, called peace and tranquility, or Jampa in Tibetan. Withdrawing from worldly activities and settling in this state, then we're going to move into what is called the mother principle of creation, which is the use of the healing energy of the elemental nature, and in this case, 5 elements. And tonight we're going to use the element of fire or radiation for healing, but understand that the other 4 elements, water, earth, fire, air, and space, are all there together. The symbol used will be a red pyramid with 4 sides and a base as a code. And this color code is what creates the psychic energy patterning that causes healing to take place. So using the red pyramid as a radiation or fire energy symbol, we start with the 5-element healing practice. And the way we approach this is take the 3 lights of the 3 breaths and bring them together into the heart center, creating a bindu or chakra of healing energy with visualizing a tiny point of energy or light, as small as you can imagine, similar to an atom, right in the center of your chest, center of your body. And this way you connect to your all-pervasive nature of your mind, which is your natural mind, which is equal to the boundless energy of light throughout space. Then with this connection to basic space, we keep our focus and our imagination together by visualizing that particle, that point in the center of your heart chakra, to expand to a tiny sphere of clear light. In this way, you move from that dimension of the all-pervasive nature of mind into its application of this three-dimensional universe. Then with focus and imagination on this small sphere, you expand it inside until it grows into the four-sided symbol of radiation or fire, the pyramid. And this becomes the psychic healing energy modality of this practice. Then visualize this pyramid as small as you can visualize it in your heart chakra to move out in front of your chest and up before your eyes 2 feet in front. The next step is to expand it in size so you can see your physical body comfortably sitting just as you are inside. In this way, receiving the full healing effect of your own mind in union with the healing energy of this symbol, which is primordial. Then share this healing effect by expanding this pyramid in size by visualizing it to completely enclose the island, town, or area where you live. The next step is to expand it by visualizing it to grow in size to completely enclose Mother Earth, including her atmosphere. Then visualize it to grow in size so that the entire solar system is enclosed in this four-sided red pyramid symbolizing radiation or fire. Expanded now in size till it completely encloses our spiral disc-shaped galaxy. And everything and everyone in that dimension. Then go beyond the confines of your rational mind to merge this symbol with the expanse of boundless space. Since this is beyond conception, simply relax and enjoy the view. From this timeless state of presence, return with your imagination and focus together to create the symbol enclosing the galaxy. Then reduce this healing symbol in size until it encloses only our solar system. Further shrink it in size till it just encloses Mother Earth. Then very much smaller till it just encloses the island or area where you live. And tinier until it just encloses your physical form, just as you are sitting inside. Like a beautiful red tent with healing energy. Then bring it to its original small form directly in front of your eyes, arm's length in front. Bring it to chest level and into your heart chakra. All the energy patterning, healing energy patterning in this practice is now located in this heart mind. Then start the shrinking process of the symbol in your heart chakra till it again assumes the dimension of the particle connecting to basic space, boundless space, and the energy patterning in space, light. Can bring the results of this healing awareness program to in front of your eyes and expand it into your place of practice to finish. That's it. A little card just fell off my table. I'm going to read it because it's a note to myself what we're engaging with these practices. We're healing body, speech, mind, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual predisposition. And first of all, with the mind developing kindness as the basis, loving kindness. So if you ask the Dalai Lama what is his religion, he simply says loving kindness. But what are we developing is the focus and the imaginary power of the mind to create a state of peace and tranquility or stillness. And by using the imagination and the power of our own mental faculty, clarity enters into the picture as the energy of the universe itself, the motherly principle of healing, and the creation of the motherly principle, which is everything. We develop this so that our intuitive awareness becomes apparent. But more importantly, the application of how to use this intuitive awareness. So with the guidance of the lamas, of which we have thousands on the planet today, we, through devotion and trust and respect to their guidance, we develop what is called Buddhahood or maturity as a human being. And this result changes the future of the individual that reaches that state of maturity, so that the mind itself becomes equal in an energy program to the universe and all the beings in it. So this takes away what we call the idea of separation. And when you take away the idea of separation, that's called a Buddha field, or a state of complete natural mind or awareness. So when we say Buddha, two words, or the application of the practice of the Buddha's teaching, which is Bodhi or Bodhisattva, those two words indicate patterning and sound, or the vibration of the pattern. So the Bu or the Bo is the patterning, and the Da or the Di is the energy of these patterns, whether they be in physical form like our body or mental application like our thoughts and imagination and so forth. So this little note, which I made to myself, is always applicable, is the summary of the app that we are using. And tonight, when I read this one-page paragraph from this book, The Story of All of It, It relates to two truths. The relative truth of our situation and that of everybody around us, all the animals and humans and spirits which pervade our world, and the ultimate nature of everything, which is how all of this is simply an energy program which we entertain ourselves with. It says, in the ultimate view, using the mind, first of all, nothing is permanent and everything is always changing. The ultimate truth is in the absolute sense, restricts our thoughts and prevents them from fully penetrating to the meaning of ultimate truth. Only direct experience through practice can do that. We cannot understand this too clearly right now because we are looking at it with our relative mind. When we look at the relative world, there's no problem understanding what we mean by I, you, and me. But the real word of this is we. And we are not too sure what is beyond those meanings of I, you, and me. When our thoughts in the relative world move to a state of learning or understanding, the experiences attached to our consciousness and to our central perception, we can now only understand that as the effect. And this is where the word karma enters into the movie. But karma is simply through experience and understanding, knowing that what you say, think, and do is why you're here now and under these conditions. Because that's what you did in the past. So you have this present situation. And in experiencing the Dharma, that means you are at the top of the food chain. So you should be thanking yourself for being in this extremely perfect situation. That's the first thought. So that goes along with everything's impermanent, best way to put it. And everything is subject to karma. What we say, think, and do causes our future to be that. But more understanding is necessary that this relative situation has four unwholesome effects. First one is physical suffering. The second one is mental pain or suffering. The third one, that these two are caused by the emotional afflictions attached to what we are sensing and thinking about. And finally, if we don't connect physically, mentally, and emotionally in a healing way to the universe and the beings around us, then the pain and suffering is the result. So what is spiritual practice? Spiritual practice is simply coming in harmony, physically, mentally, and emotionally with our world and the beings around us. So I'm reading that from the story of all of us by Ramaration, my teacher in Honolulu, which is a guide to all Dharma practitioners of Tibetan Buddhism. But the story of all of us applies not only to people who do these shamanistic practices, but to every animal, human, and spirit in the entire universe. This is available on Amazon. Now tonight we're going to move from the 5 elements practice and the 3 lights meditation practice that we started with to a tantric practice called Manjushri. Now in Tibetan Buddhism, the Lama is giving the oral transmission based on 5 different energy fields. They're called 5 Buddha families. And these 5 energy fields have 100 different methods of practice. And each of those methods are presented in both the motherly principle of creation and the fatherly principle of how to use it. So that's creation, the universe itself, with the method to enjoy it. So when we do that, we have all these various practices that actually we're simply retraining the mind to move from the relative to the ultimate position. And to do that, we move into a more profound sense of the imagination and the focus coming together as the method. So the sound we're going to use is the sound of light in the Sanskrit tradition, which the code looks like this. It looks like a funny U laying on its side with a hook over it. And the sound is D. So when we say D, we're talking about the vibration of the energy of the mind and the energy of the body working together. But this D is the creation symbol of the patterning of the mind and the body to create insight. Now, insight or awareness, as I said before, has two levels. The relative level, which everybody enjoys, and the ultimate level, which very few people enjoy. But both are the same nature of all the minds, of all the animals, humans, and spirits in the entire universe. When we do the Manjushri, it has been passed down from the Buddha Shakyamuni 2,600 years ago as a puja. And the puja has been translated through Sanskrit to all the languages of the planet. But what it simply means is how to understand your own mind's energy program, its own way of sensing and thinking about things, and take out the distortion. Well, if you take out the distortion, you can do that with your cell phone. All you have to do is Google it. When you want to understand something, you Google. So this is about Google. But what we're understanding here is not just what is the relative truth, but how to use it to gain insight to the natural mind or the ultimate truth. So we're going to start this practice with the three lights meditation, and then we will actually perform the practice using the imagination, which we call creating mandala, light and light forms, and that patterning with a vibration of sound, which we call mantra. So we sit with the back straight, hands in a comfortable position on the knees or in the lap, head slightly tilted forward, mouth closed to start with. Back straight, eyes focused to the space and light energy 2 feet in front, arm's length in front, and half close your eyes. So you're softening your gaze to this energy point in front. This energy point in front is the nature of everything in the universe, and it is coming in through your eye. This affects the brain and the patterning of the pituitary and pineal gland here, which causes all secretions of the body to arise. Then, with your imagination and your focus together, with your breath, visualize that the air that you are inhaling has white light penetrating your lungs, and you hear the sound Om. The second step on the breath is to use the middle breath, the absorption breath, that energy passing through the body as red light to every cell in your body. And the third step of this healing breath is to visualize that these two combine to produce the healing energy of blue light out your nose, available to everyone in space. The purpose of the white light to the lungs is to influence the body. The red light energy through every cell of the body, its purpose is to influence the speech. And these two together as healing energy of blue light out your nose to space is to influence your natural mind. Bring it into a state of being. Simply put, inhale white light, fill your lungs. The energy absorption breath is visualized as red light to every cell flashing through your body. And these two combined out the nose is blue light to space. Similar to our sky. With the first one, you heard the sound Om. With the red light breath, you hear the sound Ah. And the blue light to space, you incorporate the healing sound Hum. Then you incorporate these with the speech by chanting Om, Ah, and Hum. Om, Ah, Hum, Om, Ah, Hum, Om, Ah, Hum. Om, Am, Om, Om, Am, Om, Om, Am, Om. Now the Om, Ah, Hum with these three lights supporting your life force and your mind are incorporated into all the practice, sutra and tantric practice of Tibetan shamanistic Lamaism. To activate this, you bring the three lights and the three sounds, as you did with the healing 5 elements practice, by taking your focus off the breath. Bring the three lights and three sounds into the particle in the center of your heart chakra, creating what is called a bindu, a connection to the infinite light of the all-pervasive space. With this as the basis of practice, identified as natural mind, with focus and imagination, you expand that particle again to a small clear light sphere right in the center of your heart. Then expand the sphere in size until it creates a 5-colored sphere of energy in your heart chakra. This symbolizes the 5 applications of natural mind as awareness, connecting with the 5 states of your central perception of your relative mind as the basis of the universe. With this 5-colored sphere inside, you start the practice of Manjushri by seeing a red D, the vibratory sound I showed you, which looks like this. Or you can just visualize DHI or DI, D in red, but give it thickness. Make it a 3-dimensional vibratory symbol. Then send the 3 lights of your body, speech, and mind, which is what you identified with the Om Ahum breath, out to the Mama of this oral transmission and all the Lamas who give this teaching of Manjushri. They accept your light offering, and from their heart chakras, they return the energy into your heart center, into the D. With this connection, you have a worldly support, a planetary support of all of the teachers and students or disciples that do these practices, in particular this practice. At that point, you become what is called the rainbow body or illusory body, like a hologram of this deity called Manjushri, which I put a picture on the shrine between Tara and the Buddha statue, and it looks like this. So you're golden in color, you're like a hologram, your ordinary body disappears, and you have a sword raised in the sky of your mind, cutting through ignorance or lack of understanding and delusion. Then in your left hand, your thumb and ring finger hold a stem of a lotus that symbolizes altruistic compassion, and on the lotus is the consort of Manjushri, who is called Prajnaparamita's text of form is emptiness and emptiness is form. That's called the Heart Sutra. So with this visualization and the D in your heart center and the vibratory sound of the mantra, by creating you yourself as a deity, which takes you into the actual realization that your body is nothing but a bunch of atoms. And with this illusory body, with this symbol, you become a bodhisattva, which has the well-being of every animal, human, and spirit in the universe at heart. Happy Valentine's Day. Then to start your practice, you as Manjushri, dressed in silks and jewels with the 5-jewel crown of 5 states of awareness, with your legs in full lotus, sitting on a moon disk, sun disk, and 32 petal lotus in space, You project all of this to your mother who created you out of the 5 elements and out of loving kindness. Then you apply this same symbol of compassion, power, and insight to all mother sensing beings, your father, all your relatives, all your friends, all your lovers, pets, enemies, adversaries, everybody you have karma with this life. Then you project it to the infinite number of animals that not only inhabit your body, but inhabit the ocean and the land as Manjushri. So like you did with the 5 elements practice, you're expanding outward in your mind through space. These sentient beings is equal to you in the rainbow body symbol of the deity. Then you expand your mind further to include the infinite number of spirits that inhabit the totality of our universe or space. With your mind filled in this way, you accomplish the heart mantra, which unfolds in a circle of vibratory sound or symbols around the D inside the 5-colored sphere in your heart. Starting with the vibratory sound Om, the mantra appears as Om, Ah, Ra, Pa, Sa, Nam, Di, So, Ha. And so you sound that mantra with your speech, visualizing the D and the energy of the mantra, filling your form as Manjushri, and then, like our sun, filling space with healing energy and unconditional love and compassion. Om, Ram, Ram, Sam, Nam, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ram, Ram, Sam, Nam, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ram, Ram, Sam, Nam, Di, So, Ha. Om, Ram, Ram, Sam, Nadi Soha Om Ram Pancha 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 Nadi Soha Ram Pancha Nadi Om Ram Pancha Nadi Soha Om Ram Pancha Nadi Soha. Soha comes from Swaha in Indian Sanskrit, which means energy always expanding, available to everyone. Om is everything is healing energy coming into your situation as compassion, power, and insight, and life support. Ah is the basic sound of energy. Ra is the fire energy of light itself, we call the thermal signature. Pa is the method, the male energy program of how to use it and when. Sa means to totally integrate wisdom or innate, intrinsic awareness. D is the sound of light with the sound Na, which is the channeling of the light. In this case, the deity, the seed syllable D, and the heart mantra projected as a symbol equal to you of all beings in the universe. The mantra itself visualizes each symbol a different color, vibratory sound around the D with the letters facing outward, and they are stationary. And all the energy of the mantric sound and the D passing through your body as healing energy to beings throughout space, in the same way our sun generates healing energy or life support energy for our solar system. Om PATSA NADI SOHA. 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 So with the creation sound D, the mantra is Om PATSA NADI SOHA. You as compassion, power, and insight, symbol of Manjushri, projected to every being in your mind in the universe, you're accomplishing your movement from rational to natural. We say from relative to ultimate nature. And in this way, reduce your judgment call of everything being good or bad, or high or low, or separate, to a state of total interconnection and equality. Om PATSA NADI SOHA. 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 Om Ram 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 PATSA NADI SOHA. SOHA. So engaging the body, speech, and mind with the discipline of this tantric practice, we also have the sutra method of reading from a text and then doing the mantra. When we use the text, you should know that this was translated hundreds of years ago, but recently by one of my teachers, who was a Rinpoche from Tibet, in the Chinese Tibetan, called Torthan Tuku, who lived in San Francisco. And he received this instruction from, as a sutra from of Manjushri, from His Holiness Jamken Shikne Punsam Jungling. And that teacher passed it on down to our translators, to Ramarishan and Hanru, who had these texts printed up. Now the text starts off with this sadhana as a peaceful practice. The word peaceful in Tibetan is japa, and Manjushri in Tibetan is shidru, which means awareness practice. The sword is the main symbol of cutting through ignorance, delusion, and any idea of separation. Also the idea of things being divine or supernatural or low. So when we say without separation, we're talking about equality, or more importantly, equanimity, which means emotional stability. With this lineage practice, Manjushri combines power and compassion with insight. Compassion is used as the symbol Chenrezi, which is Om Mani Padme Hum. Power is by the wrathful symbol of Chenrezi, which is Vajrapani, which is Om Ar Vajrapani Hum Pe. But for us, the understanding is that this sadhana is the ground of beings as basic space. So that's why we start the mantras out by combining the breath with the sound Om Ma Hum into the particle representing the light of boundless space. Then from that we move into this world as this useful, we say, illusory or light body of the deity. This is a dynamic and unceasing radiance of one being as a bodhisattva. And you are self-cognizing your own state of intrinsic awareness, which is so useful compared to your relative awareness, which is so painful. Taking refuge in this is simply the application of the deity suffused with the ruddy glow of clouds at sunset, which means it has a reddish glow. Since it's an illusory body, like a hologram, its energy itself as radiation of light. Being decorated with ornaments and jewels represents the 5 states of intrinsic awareness, which we use to engage our state of sensual or relative awareness. And with the 5 jewel crown, we have the 5 applications of awareness that cause us to be in a state of lasting happiness or without pain and suffering. With 5 silks, you're symbolizing the 5 elements as healing energy, or the creation energy of the universe itself as the mother. And simply sounding the mantra and engaging the application of D as the simplicity of our universe and our mind working together. So all of that comes out with the Om, the Ah, and the Hum, which we apply to the breath to start with. And I'm reading this from the text as I move along to the page which has the mantra, which simply states a state of transcending and accomplished emptiness or voidness as who you are and what you are with your energy of thought. So this is called the deity of pristine awareness. It arises from the vast expanse of your own indwelling illumination. You pay homage to this symbolically, recognizing your own true nature as the miraculous display of the total purity of your own mind. In this way, all phenomena characterized by sensory objects, faculties, and relative consciousness are become primordially and totally pure and perfect, and are offered as symbolic offerings for your own true nature. Through this means, the most majestic state of meditation absorption is accomplished, and one becomes free of fixating on anything that you can think of or sense. Once you have this freedom, you continually apply this to limitless sentient beings as your mothers, as Manjushri throughout space. Then to summarize the mantra in this text, it says, this vibratory sound of the D and the Om Ar PATSA NADI SOHA are not from any scriptural transmission. This secret path is passed orally as a direct transmission, not originating from karma. Its result is to be the true ongoing nature of being, whether it inhabits a form body or not. Not originating from the relative or mundane mind, this is the sublime and primordially awakened state of what we call Buddhahood, or maturity as a human being. We pay homage to this application as the sovereign Lord of all 5 Buddha families in one symbol. In this way, all appearance, sound, and the relative mind, or what we call the mundane mind, become the 3 of the deity, the mantra of the deity, and the sound D as a sphere of the true nature of reality. In this way, by practicing deity and mantra, the true nature of reality becomes the great perfection of one's own state of being. This is the union of intrinsic awareness and voidness. This union of intrinsic awareness and emptiness is free of extremes. It is called inherent awareness, or natural mind, and it is free and all-embracing. So I repeat the secret mantra in a state without distraction, without yet grasping or fixating on it or anything else. And in this way, I become the rainbow body of Manjushri. Om Arapata Nadi. Om Arapata Nadi. So now we symbolize the deity, but inside the sword now is attached to 6 other swords. And they are visualized with the main sword standing up inside your heart chakra and the other 6 laying flat, pointing in 6 directions. The one standing has the D on the blade. The other have the rest of the mantra on their blade. They are blazing light energy through your body and the top blade out through the top of your head. All of this to the 6 types of beings which pervade our world. All the humans, all the animals, and all the spirits in existence. And we sound the mantra to give this awareness to them. They become Manjushri, same equal to you, and the speech is your healing advice. Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Pata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi. Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi. Nadi, Om Arapata 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 Nadi, Om Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Om Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Om Arapata Nadi, Patanadi Om Varapatanadi Om Patanadi Om Varapatanadi Om Varapatanadi Om Varapatanadi Om Varapatanadi Om Varapatanadi Om Varapatanadi Om Nadi Om Varapatanadi Om Varapatanadi Om Varapatanadi Nadi Om Varapatanadi Om Varapatanadi Om Varapatanadi Om Varapatanadi Om Varapatanadi SOHA. SOHA is an affectation because with the six swords and one standing upright, we're accomplishing what SOHA means. This tantric application means those six swords, four of them are for the spirit world. Those are the gods and goddesses of the heavenly realms and the four or more gods and goddesses. But also the demonic gods and what we call the hungry ghosts, or the ones that are totally deprived spirit. Then also to all animals and humans. So these six swords project your healing energy into those six, what we call emotional states of existence, the relative world. Nadi Om Marabada 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 Nadi Om Nadi Om Marabada Nadi Om Marabada Nadi Om Marabada Nadi Om Om Marabada Nadi Om Marabada Nadi Om Marabada Om Marabada Nadi Om Marabada Nadi Om Marabada Nadi SOHA. With this application of Manjushri applied to yourself and infinite sentient beings, your mothers throughout space, all equal to you. The deed, the vibration of the mantric sound with your speech, and in your mind, all sentient beings as this symbol of power, insight, and compassion, as voidness, clarity, and bliss, result in the seed syllable, the mantra in your heart, the heart mantra, and all the beings, including you as Manjushri, to merge with the energy of infinite light throughout boundless space. And this is accomplished by all of what you are saying, thinking, and doing. Connect to the D in your heart center in the five-color sphere, and you as the deity. All of that you are imagining to disappear as energy into space. D, 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 D. Sound the D. D, 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 from your heart flash compassion, power, and insight, and loving kindness. Everyone, everywhere. Happy Valentine. supernova going off from your heart outward through space. D. No practice, no meditation. Simply sit in your own bliss, voidness, clear light. The timeless nature of no past or future or present exists in this moment. Relax, enjoy. In this state of presence, timeless awareness is your application. The accomplishment of this, the realization of this, is total maturity as a Buddha in the human condition. This is called the accomplishment stage of tantric practice. Its application is the same as a mother's loving kindness, unconditionally applied to her only child. At the end of this session of resting voidness, our natural mind, we intentionally return to the practice of the deity, which is called the creation stage of practice, and the SYLLABLE D and the mantra Om PATSA NADI SOHA. Then moving from this tantric practice to the text, I'm going to read the last part of the text, which is dedicating this as a puja or sadhana. This means offering. And so the offering of this practice always is for the benefit of limitless sentient beings throughout the dimension of time and space. So in this spacious skull-cup of the unborn basic space of all phenomena, the ground of being manifests as all apparent phenomena that we sense or think about. All of this phenomena is actually samsara and nirvana, and both are arranged as equal in the feast. And in this offering, all is consecrated with the uncontaminated view of self-cognizing intrinsic awareness or the natural mind, and through this becoming the splendor and delight of the deity, which is now the recipient of this offering factor. All and any food or drink or articles actually gathered here are expanded as offerings throughout the sky treasury of meditative absorption, which is the natural all-pervasive mind. This offering is boundless and all-illuminating and extends throughout the entire realm of space. It is offered as the entire and vast array of the deities of the three roots of tantric factors, which are the Lama, the deity, and these two as the protector. And failing to hold to a place of intrinsic awareness of self due to the fixation of an I or me as ordinary characteristic, I personally have transgressed the Vajra pledge, which is serious to transgress, and I confess whatever errors I committed from the depths of my heart according to this factor, without denying the thought patterns fixating upon the ordinary characteristics of dualistic grasping of the idea of separation of self and others, and deliberately altering them, or even making these a part of the path. I plant the sharp sword of inherent, carefree, intrinsic awareness in the supreme original purity in which all phenomena fall away into emptiness. All this limitless spiritual approach involving ground, path, and fruition are simply the symphony of pristine awareness, of mixing the deity, mantra, and the true nature of reality as voidness, bliss, and what we call Mahamudra, the great view. Fulfilling this strict sacred bond in the victorious, with all the victorious ones, practitioners and lamas who fill space with these gathered clouds of offerings, cause the increasing and pristinely perfect and complete state of self-awareness. By my presenting these offerings of inexhaustible nectar to my own body as the totally pure mandala of deity, may the four visions of body, speech, and mind and spirituality ripen into the supreme transference of the body of light, and may all beings awaken to enlightenment as a single mandala. You guests who are the spirits who personify thought patterns not established in this vast presence of spontaneous presence, please take of this offering feast and share of it as you delight. Partake of any offerings based on our faith and compassion, and so we extend this banquet of benefit to all well-being of all the teachings and for all beings inhabiting space. May all accumulations of virtue and merits gathered throughout the three times be exemplified by the virtue of practicing tonight, and right completely in the mindset of beings throughout space. May all awaken to enlightenment in the youthful base body of Manjushri as simply an indwelling illumination endowed with special qualities. And may the auspiciousness of the pure view of the Dharmakaya, the all-pervasive nature of one's mind, is simply resting in the genuineness beyond the ordinary rational mind. May there be the auspiciousness of perfect meditation of the deity as the energy of the Sambhogakaya, which is the direct experience of reality reaching full measure in the human condition. May there be the auspiciousness of the pure conduct of the deity as the man or woman teacher, which becomes the inseparability of basic space and intrinsic awareness, called the natural mind. May there be the auspiciousness of the effort as the accomplishment of all of these as the three vehicles of Tibetan Buddhism. So now we dedicate the merit, which is at the bottom of the sheet. By this virtue, having realized Mahamudra, may I quickly establish all beings without a single exception in this state. With the blessing of the Buddhas who have changed the two bodies, and with the blessing of the unchanging truth of the Dharma, and to our blessing of the unwavering aspirations of us, the Sangha, may this dedication prayer be fulfilled. Then in Sanskrit on the left, Devadi Nirdu Dam Chagya Jampu Tudune Dola Chinkin Mahalupa Te Salam Gopar Shol Sanjay Kusam Nipa Somani Place Jampai Jamaka Genju Niche Dumpai Jamaki Chita Duma Then my Tashi prayers that all the lamas have long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity, and may all their wishes be fulfilled. And on this planet, may all beings be happy, free of suffering, established in bliss and equanimity. Happy Valentine's Day. Om Richiche, mahalo, thank you. Aloha.
Thank you.
Aloha is in Hawaii, so aloha is Valentine's Day every day in Hawaii.